And let's get started. So welcome everyone once again. My name is Mike Fogel. I am a social skills therapist. I'm an art therapist by training. And this is the Art of Friendship seminar series. And we present various aspects of supporting children with neurodevelopmental differences, neurodiversity, autism, ADHD, learning differences, how best to support them across different skill and functioning areas. And today's topic is the 5 most critical social skills and awarenesses that your child needs to succeed. Okay, so we're going to define what is a social awareness. Social skills, I think, seems a little bit self-explanatory, but we're going to dive into all that. Couple of notes for other resources. I wrote a book published in 2020. And this teaches you how to motivate and reinforce your child's practice of learned social skills. Whether they have a social skills curriculum at school or in therapy, how can you become the social trainer and coach on the home front, or if you're a professional in your setting? So you can purchase it online. We are not in person today because of the snow in the East Coast. And so we have this slide will come up at the end later if you would like to use the QR code. Also, I have a resource for you that will have this presentation and a host of others on, as I mentioned, on all different aspects of supporting your child or student or client who is neurodivergent. And so it's called Mike Fogel's Art of Friendship, and you can use this QR code to get to that YouTube channel. And again, this slide will come up at the end as well as a resource. And so here's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to be talking about a visual and metaphoric language that simplifies, concretizes social skills and how to understand people's social task for people of all ages. Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about today. You're going to leave here, hopefully, with several bits of very specific language that you can use to discuss social skills with your child, client, student. Now, social skills, we've discovered as a result of the pandemic, is for everyone, right? Even children who are neurotypical can need help learning various aspects of socialization. But this program was specifically developed for children with SECCs, social emotional cognitive challenges. And this SECCs is a term that I coined based on some previous writing and research. And it's an umbrella term that speaks to the social traits across diagnostic categories, because what we found is that social skills deficits or challenges isn't just for someone with autism, but also people with ADHD. Learning differences may have some overlapping social challenges in how to understand social situations and how to select really effective social skills to succeed in various settings. And so social emotional cognitive challenges mean that means that there's some underlying processing difference, maybe a misunderstanding, not understanding the unwritten social rules. And so we're going to talk about some of these underlying thought processes that can make it hard for an individual to engage and navigate their social world. So that's our task today. And then I'm going to propose some language and some social lessons that may help to illuminate some of these otherwise veiled or hidden social skills. Now, continuing to discuss SECCs, this is my visual that helps me to understand social skills and social traits. So we can move beyond diagnosis and really get to know the individual. Who is the child in front of us? And this is a photo of a graphic equalizer on a stereo. And all those little bottom lines and rectangles, those are little sliders, right? And you can nudge up, you can change the volume or intensity at all these different frequencies. And in my mind, metaphorically, that represents every single micro social skill and social awareness that goes on seemingly imperceptibly unconsciously to the average person. it also helps to explain individual differences. There's something called the autism spectrum for a reason, because if you know one person with autism, essentially you know one person with autism because you know their profile of how they have maybe slightly improved conversation skills, but they have a harder time reading social cues. Maybe they have a harder time with assertiveness, but they're better at flexibility. So all these different skills can be in different measures. So when we teach, if we're teaching a group, we want to make sure that everyone gets in on the ground floor. So even though some kids might have certain social competencies already, we want to make sure we start from the foundation, and then we build up and grow social awareness and social skills and sophistication as a group. Okay, I want to define some terms here because we're going to be talking about these. There's social awareness, social cognition, and social skills. Okay, so awareness is certain things that, I'm going to use the term aware in the definition, certain things that people are aware of or have some innate sense that other people are out there for connection and pleasure, and certain awarenesses of invisible aspects of socialization that the neurotypical person might take for granted, like theory of mind, which we're going to define, or social cause and effect. We're going to define that as well. A lot of the people that I work with have a hard time inferring the unspoken, unwritten social rules or social expectations. And so that's awareness, aware that these things are out there, aware that these things exist. For some reason, the neurotypical person on average somehow seems to infer them. A simple example is if you get in an elevator, when you walk in, everyone seems to know you walk in, you turn around, you face the door, you press the button. And then if the door opens on another floor, the door opens, someone else walks in, what do? Somehow most people know that suddenly you rearrange the space. The person who was there already moves over a little bit to create more space, so you balance out the space. These are unwritten social rules and expectations. That's awareness. So we're going to do some direct instruction in awareness to help your child understand and become aware of some of these things. And once kids are aware, all of a sudden, it helps them to become social decision makers. So awareness. Social cognition is when a person's out in their social world, as information comes in, how do they process it? How do they think it through? How do they read the room and then select a certain behavior to use in a given situation? So there's that sort of social cognition, that thinking process that goes into interacting socially. And often it just happens so fast in the social world, but we can teach children and adults who have some social gaps or challenges how to think through some of these things. They might not, we're not asking them to change their wiring. We're not telling them that they are faulty or there's anything wrong with them. But if they learn a few sort of thought processes, perhaps engaging in the social world might be a little easier, have less anxiety and less pain and frustration. So that's a part of the rationale for doing this. And finally, social skills are exactly what I think people expect. It's tips on what to do, right? Repeatable strategies or repeatable behaviors to navigate the social world. A conversation skill, asking a conversation question, asking a follow-up, to dig deeper and so on, as an example. So we're going to be addressing social awareness, social cognition, and social skills. And the 5 most critical sort of social awarenesses and skills that really can impact whether someone struggles or if they can kind of make their way in the social world are these 5. Okay, so 1, inferencing social rules with big picture thinking. The second is theory of mind, which is also known as perspective taking, projecting your mind into someone else's perspective. What might they be thinking right now? Do they like what I'm doing, or do they not like it? Are they still interested, or are they bored? So that's theory of mind, perspective taking. Number 3 is reading nonverbal social cues, right? Seeing the cues that people are giving out, and that's usually our guide that adjusts our behavior one way or the other. Flexibility. A lot of people that I work with have rigid or inflexible thinking, which impacts self-regulation. It can cause frustration and meltdowns, and it can also get in the way. It can cause friction and distance in relationships if you're not flexible. So for a lot of reasons, we have to talk about flexibility. And number 5 is a 3-parter, but it's pragmatic language. So this is language development. Human beings have developed language, and language helps us to navigate our social interactions in the social world. And so the 3, in my mind, most critical ones that can lead to frustration and senses of failure and struggle versus engagement are assertiveness. How do you stick up for yourself? Problem solving, becoming a problem solver when something goes wrong, and negotiation and compromise. And we're going to address these 5 areas today in our time together. The first one is weak intuitive thinking and big picture thinking. Technically, these are 2 social awarenesses. I'm mashing into one for efficiency because the social lessons I'm going to teach in a moment actually address both. So when someone has intuitive thinking, you see what's happening in front of you, and you're assuming, you're using your own intuition, and perhaps you're using some past experience to figure out what's going on, what's called for in the situation, and then how I can engage. And so this inferencing piece really can get in the way for a lot of kids. And so we're going to talk about that. Intuitively learning from mistakes. The average sort of neurotypical person, beginning in their earliest social years, already is getting feedback from the social world. So for instance, my example is 4-year-olds in preschool, and they walk up and they go poke, 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 poke. They're poking a friend over here to get their attention. Friend goes, stop. They go poke, 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 poke. Kid goes, stop. Gets louder. They continue to poke to get attention. Finally, the child says, stop, leave me alone. And maybe they swing. And so the child who has inferential thinking goes, oh, they don't like it. They don't like it now. I should infer that they won't like it later. 2 hours from now, I shouldn't get their attention with poking. And perhaps not only should I not poke this child, but I bet child B over here might not like it either. And so that shapes behavior. So they might drop the poking as a means of getting attention, but the person who has a social emotional cognitive challenge may miss that, right? They might not make those inferences. And so what happens? They repeat the same social behavior because they didn't realize it. So that child now is like, oh, they keep poking me. I don't want to be around them. And you can develop a reputation the older you get and the farther you get into making sort of social behaviors that might bother people. So one example. And with big picture thinking, a lot of our gang are brilliant at details. They observe details in the environment, but what are the big pictures of socialization? Well, it's supposed to be fun. I'm supposed to try to keep this relationship comfortable and working well. But if I'm going after the details of what I'm interested in, I can argue like kids at recess. The person who has narrowed the detailed focus is arguing a rule, for the entire recess. That ball was foul. That was a foul ball. And everyone else is saying, it's fair. Stop arguing. And they're arguing and arguing because they're focused on the details, right? The big picture is, well, it's supposed to be fun. Recess is only 30 minutes long. So these are some of the big pictures that help, the other kids to be like, oh, come on, move on. Let's go. Let's get back to the game. And our detailed focused person is arguing. So weak intuitive thinking and big picture thinking. So here are some social lessons to illuminate, to help with some big picture thinking. And this is going direct instruction about some unwritten expectations and social rules. And so we nickname this idea of how everyone's interdependent. We're all counting on each other for social contact. We call it the team for fun, and I'll tell you why. So when I'm teaching kids of all ages, pretty much, especially 12 and under, I'll say, hey, everyone, raise your hand if you want to have fun. Hands go up. And I say, look around. Every hand went up. Everyone wants fun. And so just to clarify, for adults, we think, well, people can't have fun 24/7, right? So let's not be too literal as adults. Fun is kid code for feeling good together, feeling comfortable together. So everyone wants fun. So if 2 kids are together, how many kids are we hoping are having fun? Are hoping to have fun? 2. What if 4 kids are having fun? Are together? There are 4 kids are hoping to have fun. What if there are 7 kids who are playing together at recess? How many are hoping to have fun? It's 7, the kids answer, right? So what's the pattern? What can we take from that? Well, everyone wants to feel happy and comfortable when they're out there. Everyone's trying to get something out of this experience, right? So then if everyone is out there trying, wanting to have fun, whose job is it to keep it fun? So this is a question you might ask your child. Well, it's your job. It's your job, your job, your job, your job, your job. It's everyone's job in the group to work at keeping it fun. And in that way, you're a team. You're counting on the others to keep you happy and comfortable, and they're counting on you to keep them happy and comfortable. So this means that we are interdependent. We count on people. We count on each other. So, and I say this because I used to just launch into teaching social skills, but still, a lot of the kids that I worked with might be thinking about pursuing their fun, and they wanted to do what they wanted to do, and they would think about themselves, but not the whole group. And so this way, instantly, in week 1 of a social skills process, suddenly we're all realizing, wait a minute, we're in this together. Wherever you go. When you're alone, I tell kids, you can act any way that you want. You could sit upside down in your pajamas with bunny slippers, holding a jar of pickles, chewing gum, reading a book upside down. You could do that. It doesn't matter. You're alone. As soon as you go out in the world, someone else is around there, instantly the team for fun gets activated. And here's slide 2, building on the team for fun. I want to teach the unwritten social agreement, the social contract that holds any relationship together. When marriages are working, it's because they've silently signed on to this. When groups are working together, if your government ever works well, in that moment, it's because they're on the team for fun agreement. We will stay close together in this interaction, right, or in this relationship by keeping each other happy and comfy. This is the agreement that no one talks about. And if one person is not on this agreement, the relationship falls apart or the interaction doesn't go well because they're not trying to keep the other person engaged and keep them working, right? So once again, we will stay close together by keeping each other happy and comfy. And then there are 2 roles for anyone to take. And once again, this is for people of any age. You can adapt this lesson for teens, for the corporate world, in couples therapy and marriage counseling. So there are 2 jobs on the team for fun, right, in this interdependent relationship. Half the time, roughly, you're responsible to keep yourself happy, calm and happy. And that means that's kid code for getting your needs met, self-regulation, right? Keep yourself calm and happy. The second job, roughly half the time-ish, you're striving to keep others calm and happy, right? And to illustrate that, no pun intended, I have these 2 kind of potato people at the bottom. We'll call them Bill on the left and Phil on the right, Bill and Phil. And here we have, they are close together. So that's the beginning of the team for fun. Congratulations, these guys are close together. And then Phil on the right gets a song stuck in his head. So he starts to hum. He goes, and he's humming over and over. It's just, it's an earworm. It's just a song in his head. And now it starts to bother Bill. And you can see that Bill is developing all these little red dots. That's a visual to indicate irritation. He's getting irritated. Well, all of a sudden, this team for fun contract relationship is in danger. If Phil doesn't stop, Bill may need to leave because he's getting irritated. So now these two jobs get activated instantly. So Bill, your job, okay, keep yourself calm and happy. What could Bill do? I ask my clients. Maybe he could use his words. Yeah, so, hey, can you please stop? Hey, can you please stop humming? Then we say, congratulate Bill. He's done his job on the team for fun, on this relationship. Great job. But now the responsibility shifts to Phil. When Phil hears that, what must Phil do to save the relationship? He thinks in his thought bubble, I will change my behavior to keep you happy, to keep you comfortable, right? Stops humming, and you can see these little spikes that are sticking out of him. That's a symbol that maybe he'll just hum later when when Bill isn't around. He can hum that. He could play that music later when he gets some alone time, or he could just hold it in. When I say the little spikes just on the inside, he's holding it in. Okay, I'm not gonna hum. So asserting yourself, that's a tool. That's a self-regulation tool. It's a tool to get your needs met. So use a tool to keep yourself calm and happy. And then it's quite a gift. When you adjust your behavior in any way for someone else, it's as if you've given them a behavioral gift. So we call that a gift behavior, right? The team for fun. All of a sudden, in 2 lessons, we've now taught your child the unwritten contract that holds relationships together, and we've named this interdependence. We're counting on each other. You are a team for fun just by having these 2 conversations. And then here's one more quick picture that shows the team for fun applies also to a group, to a class, to a sports team, right? You're all there together, and you're all trying to stay together and work together. So once again, hey, can you please adjust this? Sure, I'll do that for you. Hey, I need this. Can you do this for me? Yeah. What if we play this? Okay. And so on. So using your words, adjusting. Can you imagine a world in which everyone were really trying to give the other person what they need? Could you imagine that kind of a world? I imagine it now that I know this, and I kind of am obsessed about how can we get everyone in the world to be on the team for fun. So social skills is not just for the neurodiverse individual. Next, we're going to go to theory of mind and prolonged egocentrism. Okay, theory of mind, once again, is the understanding and acceptance that different people have different thoughts than me, they have different feelings than me, and they probably have different motivations or intentions than me. Not everyone has the same brain or the same background. And so job 1 is to understand and accept that. A lot of people that I work with who are neurodiverse may not know that offhand or intuitively. And so they sort of assume that everyone's going to be like them. And so then if there's a disagreement, they get really upset. They might get defensive. I've had kids say that other kids are being mean when another child simply said, I don't want to play that. Right? They were just revealing that they have different minds. So theory of mind, which goes along with a perspective taking. And then prolonged egocentrism is trying to get your own needs met all the time. And a lot of people that I work with who have social skills challenges tend to be in this tension relief cycle, always trying to get their needs met. It has to be my way. So sometimes they can look selfish, but I don't think that they're certainly not selfish and they're not spoiled. Although I think some people might think that erroneously. But they might have this prolonged egocentrism beyond, their early years. And so if you're not aware that other people have different thoughts and needs than you, and if you're driven to get your needs met, then that might make you constantly be like, hey, it's got to be my way. So they're in this tension relief cycle. If I get my way, my tension goes down. I feel better. And so that can also drive some behavior. But then on the surface, it looks like that the child may not look empathetic, or as if they don't care about others. And again, the kids that I work with are deeply caring individuals, but because of weak theory of mind, or perhaps this drive to get their needs met, sometimes they can look less so. And so I've got a lesson for that. So we want to increase kids' theory of mind and teach social cause and effect. Cause and effect is your behavior causes a reaction in someone else. So if you do something, someone else is going to think something about you. They're going to feel something about you, and they might even do something towards you. What reactions do you want to get from kids? And so, up in the top left, you can see there's like a teeter-totter, and sometimes we'll do little science experiments where we'll have a spoon and a ball and a fulcrum in the middle, and I'll strike down on the high part, and it goes up, and the kids will see the ball go flying. And we do experiments saying that, yeah, what if you just strike? What if you just tap it very gently? What's the ball going to do? Can you predict the reaction? And what if you really wham it? What if you hit down and it goes flying, and you hit it really hard? So the action is hard. What's the reaction going to be? The kids go, the ball goes flying. We try it to great joy and laughter. The ball goes sailing. And so we prove through science action reaction, which is if then. And then we come up with a magic formula that you see on your screen. And this poster is up in most of our social skills group rooms. I encourage parents and caregivers to have it at home, schools. Have this. The Team for Fun gets good reactions with this magic formula. If I act blank, and you can see the blank is this golden line, then kids will think something about me, feel something towards me, and do something, right? Give a reaction. So if I'm playing checkers and I'm losing, and I flip the board in the middle of the game and scream, "You're cheating! I hate playing with you!" What are kids going to think about you? Well, they might think, he's no fun. He's not a good sport. How are they going to feel? They might feel frustrated that the game ended. They might feel a little nervous that there might be a big flare-up of anger the next time they play with the child, the peer who flipped it. And what might they do? Well, they might say, no, thank you, if the peer wants to play next time. That could be an outcome. That could be a response. Or they could yell at them. So think, feel, do. For young children, probably like second grade and younger, I would eliminate the heart and the arm, the feel and the do, and just do the think. What are kids going to think about you? How do you want people to think about you? Do you want people to think good things or bad things? Is some of the conversation you can have. And then, so what behavior can you put in that golden line? It's kind of like behavioral Mad Libs. So if I flip the board, then this is what might happen. But then you can use this poster for social coaching as well. So you can say, hey, Sam, let's review what happened. What different behavior could you put in that golden line to make sure that Emily will want to play checkers with you the next time? Well, I could be a better sport, maybe. Child thinks and thinks, maybe, what if I'll try to play through to the end of the game, and at the end I'll say, good game, even if I lose. Oh, yeah, try that. That sounds good. And so child tries it, and then they can see the outcome, and then you can reward, you can praise, you can do all the supportive reactions that you need to do. So, but you can use this as a way to illuminate social cause and effect, and it gives your child a lot more sort of mental control and a framework to do social decision making. So teaching cause and effect, and we're beginning to talk about people's underlying feelings. We have to dig deeper though. If you're going to try to give good reactions, this lesson is literally about theory of mind. Okay, how and why to accept someone's individual differences. So we have this poster that we teach from, and it's called Different People Have Different Minds. And so we already established in poster 1, in the Team for Fun, that everybody wants to feel good, right? Everybody wants fun. But the new question for this poster for your child is, does everyone get their fun the same way? And just about 100% of the kids that I asked this question to in the calm and privacy of my office or group room, they say no. And so they're correct. Different people do like different things and get their fun. And so we make this chart, and we have these 3 kids, the 3 faces here. Now this is not hair or hats. This is an X-ray picture, so you can see we have orange brain, green brain, and blue brain. And we have kids plug it in and plug in, volunteer their information. And so I'll ask everyone, all right, we need someone to be the orange brain. What's something you like to do? I like to play soccer. So we write soccer. Green brain volunteers and says, well, I like to play video games. So I go, wait, time out, everyone. Hold on. Orange brain and green brain, can the two of you be in the same room? Shouldn't one of you be mean to each other because you like different things? And the kids go, no. I go, why? And they say, because that would be mean. I go, exactly. So you would not like it if someone yucked your yum, if someone said to you that what you like is stupid or babyish, right? And so they're not going to like it if you do that. Let's find out what's in blue friend's brain. They say their thing, we go through the same spiel. Yes. So let's make it okay if people have different ideas. Can we do that? They go, yes. All right. So that's job one. So now we establish that different people have different minds. Now, sometimes we might have green brain and blue brain. They both say, I like Minecraft. And so I'll circle those answers and say, wow, you have similar minds about that. If you have similar minds about something, that's pretty cool. That means it's easier for you to talk about it and easier for you to play about it. You have something in common. So you can do more of that. When you find out what's in someone's mind and you both like it, let's do more of that. Then we go across the second row, which is something that annoys you. And there's a reason why we do a second row, because there's something else that we need to do with information about what's in people's minds. And that is, so let's say we find orange brain volunteers and says, I hate it when people scream near me. So I go, oh, group, we just found out what's in orange brain that orange brain doesn't like. Orange brain does not like it if we scream. So should we do more screaming around orange or should we do less? And they say less, right? So less screaming. When you find out what people don't like in their minds, we do less of that. So this is now going to guide you. Let's find out what's in people's minds. You can ask them, do you like it? Do you not like it? Are you okay? Do you mind if I blah, blah, blah? If they say, no, I don't like that. Okay, don't do that, right? So don't annoy. Do more of what people like. Do less of what people don't like. And then the bottom star says stop when people say stop. Because now, to my group that I'm teaching this to, I say, when people say stop, that is your clearest sign of what's in their mind. Stop means I don't like that, and I'm probably not going to like that later. So stop reveals what's in people's minds. Stop when people say stop. So this is how we can employ this first to just generate awareness that and acceptance that people have different minds. And then what do we do with those different minds? It can help you do more things to ingratiate yourself to people, and you can annoy people less, bother people less, so you can engage with less friction. One more poster related to theory of mind, and this is a sort of a playful poster that helps the child with social decision making and really, pump up the empathy for others in their decision making. And it comes with a story. So quickly, I'll tell kids, the top left picture is the orange friend. And orange friend has just gone on Amazon and ordered a package of 6 stink bombs and thinks, haha, this is going to be fun for me. I want to give out this stink bomb. I'm going to enjoy this. And please, I always make sure that, we're not talking about violence. We're not talking about actual explosives in the real world. It's a stink bomb. It's kind of cartoony. It's light. If anyone is offended by the use of the word bomb in stink bomb, you can change it to a balloon, a stink balloon. And then the balloon bursts on the other child. So it still works. It's just not as catchy as stink bomb. So orange friend thinks, haha, this is going to be fun for me. Hands the stink bomb to blue friend, and it goes boom. And all the stinkiest juice in the world gets all over blue friend. You can see, and I'll ask the child, let's read the social cues. What feeling does blue friend look like they have? They go sad, unhappy, whatever. And read the invisible the thinking above blue friend. I don't want to be around this kid anymore. But I'll ask the child and the group, but wait a minute, this picture, there's one smiling person. Isn't that good? Someone's happy. And they go, no, but someone's sad. I say, right. So now let's look at the picture on the right, news story. same two kids, and this is orange friend is about to give blue friend a gift. When you go to someone's birthday party, are you getting them a present that you're going to enjoy, or are you thinking about what blue friend likes? And all the kids, no matter whether they have very strong social challenges or not, they all know that you think about the birthday person, right? Who you're getting the gift for. Yeah, right. You're going to think about what their interests are, what's going to make them happy. So orange friend has the thought bubble, I hope my friend likes this, and then hands the gift behavior, and blue friend thinks, what a great friend. And I ask my clients in the group, which of these pictures looks better? Which one has more happy kids? They go, the one on the right. That's right. So gift behaviors are not just actually giving gifts, but it's when you think about someone else and you do something that's going to sort of keep them feeling good, right? And so we have gift behaviors, and now we suddenly have this contrast that we can use. And then I leave this in sort of template form, so kids, families or teachers can fill in their own list. Well, what's a stink bomb behavior that your child does? Well, sometimes my child interrupts a lot, or violates people's personal space. They pop the space bubble in our terms. Okay, so what would be the gift behavior if you interrupt a lot? Well, I could try really hard to listen to when they're done talking. Go, yeah. And I can also teach a social skill about that too, what to look for. How do you know when it's your turn to talk? So pushing or shoving, saying that someone's game is stupid. What's a gift behavior? So you can list the gift behaviors and their contrast, and this now helps the child begin to think about, what behaviors am I doing? Will this help the group or help an individual? And you can also use this terminology for social coaching. If someone just did something or is about to do something that was not really helpful, you can say, ooh, that might be a stinky behavior. What would be a gift you could give in this situation? Child thinks, and you now have this quick shorthand to help you discuss socialization and to help your child with social decision making. And this is built around this theory of mind, perspective taking idea, and getting out of their own egocentrism, which is the left picture. This is going to be fun for me. I'm going to get my needs met, versus, okay, let's see if I can help the group stay happy. All right, let's keep going. The next set of social challenges comes around from a cognitive weakness of difficulty reading social cues, or perhaps misreading the nonverbal social cues that people put out. So that's body language, it's tone of voice. And one key reason that this happens is that a lot of the kids that I work with have undisciplined use of their eyes. They may not know in a whole social field, say they're in a room, classroom or playroom, what are the most important things to look at and focus on? So we do direct instruction and we teach them. And, so what is the most important thing to attend to? Well, really, it's the people. What are the people doing? How are the people feeling? What's in their minds? Are they happy right now? Or are they not happy right now? And what's in it for you if you do it? You can figure out how to give gift behaviors. You can know with different people have different minds. Should I do more of this because they're liking it? Should I do less of what I'm doing? So it's really important. Reading social cues is your guide to behaviors. Now, I want to do one caveat that's incredibly important. We are not specifically commanding neurodiverse kids to make eye contact. I think that this respects their neurology. So having them bore their eyes into yours can be very overwhelming for someone on the spectrum and other people not on the spectrum. So we're not saying, give me eye contact, but I'm going to say, send caring eyes my way. I want you to, when you send your eyes to me, you show that you care about what I'm doing, how I'm feeling. Or let's say I'm an adult and I'm teaching, I give my clients the direction. Okay, everyone send your caring eyes up here. I'm about to give directions. I want them to orient to the person. You don't have to stare and make that direct eye contact that's overwhelming, but just orient to me, check me out. Some families and therapists use the word check in. Can you check in with me? Some people say, can you think about me with your eyes? And we talk about in my program, we say caring eyes, because I want you to care about me with your eyes. Your eyes show that you care and helps you care. So in this picture, when I teach it, we talk about how your eyes are connected by wires to your brain, which sits right behind your eyes. Your brain is super close to your eyes and your ears, and they're going to come in really handy in the friendship world. What's so good about your eyes? Because when you care about people in a room, you can figure out the green. So let's say it's indoor recess, or it's recess time. So there's this, all the kids are doing different things. Your child can scan the space and be like, okay, what are they doing? Okay, those two kids are playing with cars and trucks. They're playing on the floor. Okay, what are those kids doing? Or they're kicking a soccer ball around. They're playing soccer. So what are they doing? Do I like one of those things? So that can help guide the child in the unstructured space of what they want to do. They also can use their eyes to figure out who is there. Okay, of the kids who are playing on the floor, are they usually nice to me? Am I friends with them? Am I not? What about the kids who are playing soccer? So you might decide on what to do in an unstructured situation based on what the activity is. Do I like an activity? Or you might decide based on who is at a certain activity, who's playing what. Okay? And then critically, when you use caring eyes, you send your caring eyes to others, you can look at their feelings. How are they feeling right now? And in teaching this, we talk about, so how? So caring eyes can answer the question, how? How are they feeling? Person on the left, so then we'll name some of these key feelings. For older kids, we'll have a wider range of emojis of feeling faces. And so how are they feeling? And we say, why is that so important? Because let's say it is the sad person. What can you say to the sad person? If you use your caring eyes and see the sad person, what might you say to them? Well, what's wrong? What if it's the happy person? Different people have different minds. If they're happy, what should you do? You can keep doing whatever you're doing. What if they're mad or grumpy or even screaming? Use your eyes, caring eyes, and you can learn, maybe I should give them more space, because if I get in their face, they might scream at me or lash out. The fourth person, that's supposed to be a worried face, right? So we can start to talk about first reading social cues. Once I teach this, I encourage parents to play charades, play all kinds of charades and guessing games based on nonverbals. And it could be feeling words, and it could also be like cat, elephant, whatever, driving a car. But you want to encourage your child to practice using their eyes and to sort of try to strengthen this inferential learning based on the clues around you and using your eyes. And here's a second poster that expands on it. We talk about how eyes see, so you can look at their emotions, and you can also look at their body language. And ears listen. And there are certain things that you might listen for as well in caring about people's feelings and what they mean. So you can see on the left, it says high sing-song voice with kind of a butterfly. So if someone's voice is going up and down like this, they must be happy and joking. Versus that bottom, the medium indoor voice one, my voice is more direct. I'm using this medium voice because I'm giving you information. So it's coming out a lot more straight, right? Not tons. I'm hoping that I'm giving enough inflection to keep you alert and awake, but it's a much more flat and straight kind of a line of conversation. And then I'll talk about this. Kids, can you hear what my voice is doing now compared to if I'm joking, I'm going to be like this. My voice is up and down versus when I'm giving information. And of course, a low, loud voice is, hey, stop that. Leave me alone, right? It's sharper. It comes out harsher. And that means something different. So we want to teach kids about tone of voice as well. And then you can play charades. There's a game in improv that we used to play in my programs called bamboozle. And you say the word you can only say the word bamboozle, but you say it in all different ways, and people have to guess how you're feeling or what you mean. Bamboozle, bamboozle. So you say the same word, and they have to guess how you're feeling based on the tone of voice that you use using the same word. So reading social cues, and of course, this feeds back to different people have different minds. Giving gift behaviors. You need to read the social cues to help you. They are your guide. Let's keep going. The next cognitive challenge, cognitive gap that impacts kids with SECCs across diagnoses can be rigid thinking, inflexibility. If you are inflexible, it makes it hard for you to adjust your behavior to keep others happy. It's hard to maintain the team for fun if you or someone else is inflexible. So flexibility, as hard as it is for many of my clients and participants, also is one of the most critical skills to be able to practice. And we're not actually rewiring someone's brain. We're not making them be something that they're not. But can your child, in key moments, select a flexible behavior in order to make something happen, to get a certain outcome that'll be beneficial for them? We're not officially changing their wiring. We're still respecting who they are, but can they use it to make their lives a little easier, a little less frictiony? So what's involved in flexibility? It's shifting your mind. So it's this cognitive task called shift to decrease frustration, and it enables you to negotiate and compromise, which helps the team for fun remain close. It helps you to preserve that team for fun agreement. So here is how we teach flexibility in our programs. Okay, so we call it the flexible bendy tree, and we tell a story. So on the top, we see the mighty oak tree. It has very hard wood that does not snap. People build houses. They build furniture out of oak, right? But you can see we have these little wavy lines indicating wind. There's a storm that's blowing on the oak tree, and inevitably a lot of the trees will fall during strong storms. Why is that? Because their wood is so hard, it doesn't bend, and so it snaps. And you can see the tree's pretty mad. And now people's feelings snap, and I tongue firmly in cheek, I ask my clients, but so do you snap in half? And they go, no, but your feelings can snap. And so you can see this person in the picture, they're waving their arms, maybe they're swinging, maybe they kick, they're screaming something. So a person's feelings can snap if you have your mind is hard and not bendy. But then look at the bottom tree. We have the bendy palm tree. The palm tree in the Caribbean and Florida and other places can have incredibly, powerful storms. Hurricanes come through, and the bendy palm tree, it blows, it flexes, it bends and bends because it has soft wood. And as soon as the storm is over, it stands back up big and tall. It can survive storms. I teach my clients because it is bendy. Which tree looks happier? The kids always say bendy. So introducing the topic just using the metaphor of the trees anchors it. It makes this very abstract concept concrete. And then we attach some language. Now, this image is the simplest version I have. This is when I teach it to 4- and 5-year-olds. So I use minimal language on the page, and we say, so what is a not bendy word, an unbendy word? No. No, I'm not doing it. No, you can't do it. No, you have to do it my way, egocentrism, right? Or now, I have to have it now. Now is the only time, and if I don't get it now, I'm going to be mad, right? So if you're both egocentric and inflexible, that's the kindling for meltdowns and tantrums. But if you're bendy, you might change your mind from no to yes, or from no, I'm not going to do it, to, well, I'll try. Isn't that softer? So that's bendy. And I must have it now. Well, maybe I can have it later. So I teach just these simple words for our youngest clients. But let me show you the next slide that has more complex language for older kids. Same concept. You can see we still have the oak tree, the flexible palm tree, the bendy tree. So be bendy. Well, there's certain language that you might have in your head that makes you inflexible. I only want to get my things to go my way, always, every time. I must have it now. Must is an absolute word. Must means I will die without this. I must have it. And of course, now we know is an inflexible word. So what would be the opposite? I must have it now. If you go to the bendy version number 2 down below, well, maybe I can get it later. So maybe is a bendy word. Later is a bendy word. And instead of must, I must have it now. I must get my way every time. Look at number 1. Well, sometimes things go my way, and sometimes they don't. That's a much more flexible statement that you can make. So for older kids, older elementary into middle school, we'll start to introduce this. What is some flexible language you can start to use in your head and practice? And what's in it for you? Because you're not going to snap, or the person you're with isn't going to snap. So you can preserve this contract, the Team for Fun contract. So flexibility. So I've taught the bendy tree lesson probably hundreds of times at this point. But then I noticed after teaching it several times, about half of my clients were able to employ bendiness just with the concept. But a number of the kids that I worked with, a great number, still struggled to execute bendiness. And I realized they didn't know what to do in their mind. How do you actually be bendy? So that led to this. This lesson has to do with changing your mind on purpose. That's what it means to be bendy. You change your mind from that thing that you're stuck on, right, that's sticky in your mind, and you shift to something else. So you're going to change your mind. So even if someone is wired in an inflexible way, I wonder if maybe, just maybe, at a critical moment, maybe they can select something different to do or think because it's helpful, or it's good for them. They won't get as frustrated, and so on. So how do we do it? So here we have this image, and when I teach young kids, I'll add hand motions, but you don't have to do the hand motions for older students. So, but imagine, tap your forehead, the front of your mind. This is whatever you're thinking about. Imagine this is your desktop. So this is, by the way, creative neurology. This is not actually neurology. But whatever you're thinking about, let's imagine this is the front of your mind. So right now, the front of your mind is you're thinking about my presentation and the screen in front of you. But in the back of your mind, you can see the back there is all the other stuff that you know, all your memories, and all your creativity. That's in the back of your mind. Everyone just touch the back of your mind. So if you want to change your mind, if you want to shift what you're doing or what you're thinking, you take the unhelpful, sticky thought out of the front of your mind and move it to the back. And then you select that more helpful thing to do and move it to the front. This helps with transitions. Okay, we're going to be, it's almost bedtime. Get your mind ready. We're going to be changing your mind from relaxing in iPad time, watching YouTubes, to brushing teeth and getting ready for bed. You're going to change your mind in 5 minutes. Get your mind ready is a prompt that you can use. So you can use it for transitions. All right, class, we're going to get your minds ready. We're going to be putting away your spelling worksheets, or we're going to be taking out your math books. All right, we're going to be ending circle time, and we're going to be going to the gym for PE, right? So that's how you change your mind. You can change your mind in play. No, I don't want to do that. Well, maybe we can compromise. Okay. So we're going to talk about compromise in the next couple slides. But how do we do it? You change your mind on purpose. Why? So that you don't snap or the person you're with doesn't snap. You can preserve the team for fun. Right? Okay. Compromise is going to come up in a few minutes. We're going to shift to the next. Pragmatic language skills, which is assertiveness can be weak with this population. Problem solving, people use language to problem solve, and this also ties into executive functioning as well, generating multiple solutions, multiple options, and trouble with negotiation and compromise. So this is weaker pragmatic language skills. And so we teach this with the power of I. These essentially are I statements, the likes of which have been taught in guidance, in corporate situations, and in marriage and couples counseling for decades. But we talk about you have personal power. Point to yourself and say, I feel, I need a break. I need some space. I'd like a turn. When you point to yourself and say, I, then you can stick up for yourself. People know what you want and need, and then they have a shot at adjusting their behavior to meeting your needs. If you don't stick up for yourself, if you don't let people know where you are, how you're feeling, or what you need, they can't meet your needs, and you might feel frustrated in social situations. So the power of I, and so for 4 and 5-year-olds, just teach the power of I. For kids in elementary and up, I'll add the 𝗣𝗲𝗀𝗀, contrasting the worst way to stick up for yourself, which is pointing out at others, which is blame, and it's accusatory. You always do this. You never do that. You beep, right? You're a jerk. So don't say the 𝗣𝗲𝗀. That makes people defensive. They don't really want to help you. They don't really want to listen to your assertiveness if you're making them defensive. If you're pointing out at others, point to yourself. That's your power. People are way more open to helping you if you can point to yourself. Pragmatic language. How do you compromise? Let's say you are practicing bendiness and flexibility. Different people have different minds. You and a friend have 2 different ideas. You're working on a group project at school. It's playtime. Orange friend says, my idea. Blue friend says, no, it's got to be my idea. You can see they're far apart. Now, each of them is holding, in this picture, a little cup that is their idea juice, okay, that represents their idea. Now, they're each going to take a few steps in towards the middle. Now, you can see there's some drops that are spilling out, so they can they're going to pour out their idea juice into the idea pot, mix it together, and they're going to get a new color. They're going to mix it together, and you get a new idea. So this is good if, it's playtime. One kid wants to play dinosaurs with the dinosaur figurines. One person wants to play with blocks. How can we mix our ideas together? Well, maybe we can make like a dinosaur zoo, and they can make, or dinosaur houses with the blocks, and the dinosaurs could go in them. So you're merging ideas together, and this can be used for any kind of negotiation. I recommend that people try this first because it draws people together. If ideas are too different, like I want to play sports, I want to play soccer outside or shoot hoops, and the other person wants to play blocks inside, then you can't really mix these ideas together. It's not that easy. So you shift to the second way to compromise, balance the scales of fun. We just talk about how the scales of fun go back and forth, but it's not always 1 for 1, tit for tat. A lot of kids that I work with expect, well, they got their turn last time, they got their way, so I have to get my turn this time. But over time, if you really use your power of I, you can assert yourself. So maybe your friend gets their way 2 times in a row. That's nice for them. Then you say, hey, can we do my thing? And it tips back. So if you can't blend your ideas together, then you say, all right, we'll do your idea first, then we'll do my idea. And then the person who went first has to hold up their end of the bargain to make sure that it gets evened out. So these are the 2 main ways to compromise. Use language to do it. So you say, hey, can we use, I'll do your idea first, we'll do my idea next. Okay. And this is built on flexibility, and this is built on the power of I and assertiveness. And finally, we're going to talk about problem solving. So many of the kids that I work with struggle to solve problems. Something goes wrong unexpectedly during the day, so they melt down in tears, or they give up, or they get angry. But this is a poster that teaches problem solving. So here's the hand of fate drops this brown boulder. It's an obstacle in the path of this person on their road to happiness. How can they get around it? And the kids talk about how there are 4 ways to get around it. You can go over, under, around, or through, right, in the picture. So concretely, I show that there are multiple ways to get around an obstacle, right? Get around a problem that's in your path. So if something gets in the way of your fun and success, child, let's try to come up with more than one. If you're only coming up with one solution, if it doesn't work, you're going to be back frustrated again, crying, screaming. So instead, let's see if you can generate multiple options. And so if you work with your child, it's helpful to have a concrete image with a list that they have to try to fill in the first few times. And then later, as they get more proficient at it, you can just do it verbally. But have 4. And one coach's note, sometimes the first 2 options that kids come up with are pretty outrageous. Like, well, I'm just not going to go to school anymore for the rest of my life. If you shut that down in the brainstorming, then they might get discouraged and be like, see, I can't do this. So I'll write down, never go to school again in number one. Okay, what's number two? They might say a second pretty outrageous thing. And then after that, I'll say, all right, well, so you came up with two. Now, these might get you in some trouble. It might not work out for you. Let's list a couple of really doable things. So accept some sort of very creative solutions and then shift and see if you can say, well, what would really be doable? And then you can get up to four. Pick one. What do you think would work best for you? Child offers it, they do it, and there you go. And to become a problem solver, doing it once will not do the trick. Lots of concrete practice with a problem-solving worksheet can help. Have your child brainstorm, and then they'll get better at it. So all these posters, these concepts, are the absolute core for navigating the world. Every other social skill is a skill. Conversation skills, play skills. How do you handle unstructured situations? What are really safe and effective ways to use social media to connect if you're an older child? Those are all tips and strategies, but these are the social awarenesses and the social cognition pieces that kids need to have and start practicing in order to navigate their world. One last note, reminder of the resources for you. This is the YouTube channel if you ever want to visit other videos in my series of supporting neurodiverse kids. You can use this QR code. And also, my book teaches you how to create an environment that reinforces social skills. How can you motivate kids to repeat and practice their social skills? That's the Social Emotional Guidebook. And this is a resource for you also. And so this was the 5 most critical social skills and awarenesses your child needs to succeed. Thanks so much for joining me. And I'm going to stop the recording, and then I can take a few questions if you are still here.